First, I'd like to congratulate the Harvard Business School and my colleague, good friend, Dr. Bob Eccles, on convening this two-day conference on a topic that I think is very important and very timely. Just by way of background, until recently I was the chairman of the U.S. Financial Accounting Standards Board, and for over 8 years, and before that I was on the International Accounting Standards Board, and also had the pleasure of co-authoring a book with Bob Eccles and others, what was called Value Reporting, about a decade ago, which was a little bit of a forerunner of what we're talking about today on integrated reporting. But I think the different concepts of trying to expand corporate reporting beyond just the traditional financial reporting, I think those have been around for a few decades now, but I think they're beginning to bubble up in different strands as to things like non-financial metrics, key value drivers, key performance indicators. But those are all aimed again at trying to understand better financial performance. I think the relatively newer dimensions, at least for the U.S., have been around the areas of sustainability and environmental reporting and the like. And I think trying to bring all those together to give a more coherent picture of individual companies' objectives, strategies, and performance on a number of planes is very important nowadays, as I think the world increasingly is challenged by not only financial and economic matters, but by some fairly significant environmental and sustainability issues, and understanding those and getting a reporting system going both at the company level and I think beyond that in terms of national levels and global levels, I think is going to become increasingly important. I've had the pleasure also of being one of the original members of the Prince of Wales's International Integrated Reporting Committee, which is trying to come up with an overall start of a framework to prompt that. But I was really impressed today with the gathering that Bob and his colleagues were able to put together here of people from the various different stakeholder groups in what could become an integrated reporting format, and just beginning the all-important dialogue between those groups as to exactly what problems are we trying to address, what are the overall public policy objectives, and how best to meet them in terms of, is one aspect of meeting that in terms of better, more integrated reporting, as I said, not only at the individual company level, but I think across countries and across the world as well. So this is something that as a person who spent a lot of time in the last decade on the very important area of accounting and financial reporting, which is fairly well defined, could use some improvement, but of trying to expand the reporting beyond that to meet some of the other pressing challenges of our current world and our of the future. And like many of us here, you want to be able to contribute to a better world, not only for the sake of self-gratification, but for I've got children and grown-up children, and we'll hopefully have grandchildren. You really want to leave the world a little bit of a better place than you found it, and clearly with some of the challenges I say before us, whether they be financial and economic challenges or environmental challenges or really planetary challenges in terms of sustainability, you want to be able to contribute to that whole effort of saying we made the world at least as good or maybe better than it is for the future generations. People are change resistant. They also, not everybody immediately will agree agree that there is a problem. So getting awareness and broader agreement on that there are real challenges and really a problem that does need addressing, and of common sense ways to begin to address those in multiple ways, one of which is better, catchphrase people use, transparency and accountability is an important element of that. But I think that the awareness of the problem, definition of the problem, definition of the public policy objectives to be met, I think are a very key first step in being able to get enough rallying around a cause that, at the individual company levels, some may not immediately embrace that. There's often a challenge, and I found it in my work as a accounting standard setter of, the world to a certain extent day to day can work on what are in the individual private interests. And those private interests do not always aggregate to achieving public good. Often it does, but sometimes it cannot unless you put in the proper mechanisms and infrastructures, including proper accountability and transparency. I believe there's probably a number of parallel paths it will take. There will be companies who embrace it for their own reasons or just because they think it's the right thing to do. I mean, we talked today about some of those companies, like in the U.S. Southwest Airlines, but a number of companies abroad as well. I think that will continue to go on, but at the same time, the work of the International Integrated Reporting Committee trying to develop a framework and gain some credibility and legitimacy on the world scene, I think will also go on. And I think, so I would anticipate in the next 2 or 3 years you'd see forward progress on both of those paths. I would just encourage anybody who watches all these videos, I think there's going to be a lot of other material that comes out of this 2-day conference. There's a lot of material being developed by the International Integrated Reporting Committee. There's a lot of material that GRI are working on, and to really go to the various websites and the like and avail yourself of that material and get more embraced. And if it's something that you think you also can rally around, become an ambassador for the cause.